The NASA eClips team was inspired by Larry Friedel and Nancy Serby's overview of NASA's Applied Sciences program during SMD's SciAct January's kickoff meeting. This led us to explore their guiding questions. How can NASA Applied Science build and increase learner participation in science and advance their knowledge in ways that benefit their lives and their communities? How can the relevance and impacts of science support science learning and increase interests in STEM careers? We got busy and began to dig deeper into assets of their program, and thankfully it led to NASA Harvest, which is its food security and agricultural program. In essence, Harvest collects and interprets Earth observation satellite data and shares it with producers and decision makers of countries large and small around the world. The NASA eClips technical and educator advisory boards were really excited about this topic and were a critical part of the research and production of the 2 new NASA eClips videos from the start. The final product authentically integrates mathematics, science, data literacy, and geography, exploring how NASA satellite imagery is used to address global food production and food security. Enjoy the following Our World excerpt, created for learners in grades 3 through 5.
Does it matter where food grows?
Where food grows is really important because we want to make sure that everybody in the world has enough food and nobody is hungry. My job at NASA Harvest is to help people around the world become more food secure. We can see farms all around our world using satellite imagery. They can look extremely different depending on the rainfall, temperature, and soils, and their shapes and sizes. So you can find really large farms in places like Iowa and Illinois that are growing corn. And then you might find irregular, very small fields in Africa where there's a dependency on smallholder agriculture.
What does the satellite data tell us?
So we use the images that come from satellites to map and monitor farms on Earth by using the information contained in every single pixel. A pixel is the smallest dot that makes up an optical satellite image and basically determines how detailed the picture of Earth is from that satellite. So when we use satellite imagery, we have to translate it into information that others can understand, and sometimes this requires using a map. A map has a key that has symbols that tell us what is in the map. So when we develop a map from the imagery that we've collected, we create these color-coded maps giving us ideas of what places might be experiencing drought.
That Our World video can help support the development of geospatial literacy for our younger learners. In this next excerpt, created for our older learners in grades 5 through 8, subject matter experts help students visualize the application of mathematics and the integration of science in ways that work together to solve real-world problems.
Why are some foods more expensive than others? And why do some places have more of one type of food than others? It all boils down to food supply and what plants need in order to grow.
So there are many things that plant needs in order to grow. They need water, they need air, they need nutrients that they largely get from the soil, they need sunlight or sunshine, they need heat to grow, they need time, of course, so they don't grow in one day. So crop yields are the harvested production per unit of a harvested area of a crop. You know, thinking about why is it important for us to measure to understand yield, that's essentially giving us the measure of productivity of a crop. And when we multiply the yield by the area of where it's produced, that'll give us the total production, which is generally oftentimes measured in tons themselves.
So that's the data that NASA collects about food. But how do we use that data, and what does it look like?
There are a lot of data sets that come together to help us forecast potential food shortages. The most commonly used band index is NDVI, which is Normalized Difference Vegetation Index. And it tells us something about how healthy the crops are and how green they are, how much chlorophyll is in their leaves. So high NDVI means really healthy crops, low NDVI means very little vegetation.
From start to finish, NASA subject matter experts are an integral part of NASA eClips video production. In addition to providing STEM content within the NASA eClips videos, the SMEs inspire learners by sharing their career journeys in Ask SME videos, which are often filmed remotely from areas around the world. We appreciate the SME's flexibility and willingness to work with our video production team to film themselves in these remote locations.